Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks Radio Station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. The program is Projekt Guru, and Guru's in the house as always. Guru, thank you so much for all the hard work you do. Engineer Andre here as well. Let's start off with the news. Our sister republic, Lugansk, attacked by grenade launchers. Ukraine junta. Once again, Ukraine junta forces have attacked our sister republic Lugansk, targeting civilian areas using AGS-17 grenade launchers. Grenade launchers. War crimes. Ukrainian junta forces shelled the territory of our sister republic Lugansk People's Republic again. Ukrainian Nazi forces opened fire from AGS-17 grenade launchers at the Kalinovka settlement from the Luganskoye village near the dam, according to Lugansk Inform Center. So far, no casualties or damages were registered after the shelling, but emergency teams are still covering the area, making sure no one was hurt and looking for damage or destruction caused by the Nazi Ukraine government. At the last meeting of the contact group on June 13, the side supported the initiative of Russia's envoy Boris Gryzlov on ensuring complete ceasefire on the territory of Donbass. This is the seventh attempt to fully observe the ceasefire regime in the Donbass region, Ukraine's southeast. At yesterday's meeting of the contact group, the minister participants expressed regret over continuing violations of ceasefire regime in Donbass, especially the Poroshenko junta regime. OSCE Special Representative for Ukraine Martin Sajik said that the sides discussed establishing a mechanism on preventing resumption of military actions in general. Obama is a killer. Yes, he is. Washington condemns banner hanging near U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Washington condemns the banner hanging on the building near the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, labeling U.S. President Barack Obama a killer. Deputy State Department spokesman Mark Toner has said, "Freedom of speech is freedom of speech, no matter where. But we obviously object strongly to the characterization of our president in such a way," the spokesman told reporters at the briefing on Wednesday. An art group, Glav Plakat, took credit for making the banner, saying on its website on Wednesday the move came in protest against Washington's plans to put boots on the ground to fight against Islamic State terrorists in Syria and Iraq. But we all know the truth. Obama is a killer. We're going to Spain. This is their news source. Spanish regime spreading their fascist hands arrest 9 supporters of Kurds. Spanish police arrested 9 people on Wednesday accused of belonging to and collaborating with, according to them, Guru, criminal and terrorist organization due to connections with the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK. The PKK, which is fighting for autonomy for Turkey's Kurds, is considered a terrorist group by Turkey, the United States, and the European Union. The decades-long conflict has cost more than 40,000 lives. Of those arrested, 8 were from Spain and 1 from Turkey, according to the statement. The operation, which remains open, also searched 11 houses during dawn raids in Madrid, Valencia, and Bilbao, the ministry said. Those arrested, in collaboration with other residents in other European countries, supplied the necessary infrastructure to send people to join the ranks of the People's Protection Unit, which is the YPG, or the armed wing of the organization, the ministry said. Including the arrest on Wednesday, Spain has detained 19 people accused belonging to the PKK since 2013. Guru, as you see, they hate the Kurds. All this propaganda supporting the Kurds in Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Turkey, it's all lies. They're just using them, and here you can see they are arresting anyone who supports the PKK. And on a quick note, Andre's favorite tennis player, Novak Djokovic, beats Roger Federer 6-1, 6-2, 3-6, 6-3 to advance into the Australian Open finals. Everybody be ready. Novak Djokovic in the finals, Australian Open. Geneva Peace Conference has been postponed once again, and the U.S. did not invite Rojava Kurds. The Geneva 3 conference aimed to find a political solution to the conflict in Syria has been postponed once again. Democratic Syrian Assembly co-president Ahmed Emmet, who spoke to ANF, has confirmed the postponement of the meeting, which was due to start. This was supposed to start today, Guru. Ahmed said the Rojava delegation, which includes PYD, Democratic Unity Party co-chair Saleh Moslem, has left Geneva after yesterday's meeting with U.S. and Russian delegations. Democratic Syrian Assembly co-president Hassem Mena, who received a UN invitation to the conference, rejected participation due to the non-attendance of others from the Rojava delegation. PYD co-chair Saleh Moslem and other co-president of the Assembly Imad Ahmed. The Democratic Syrian Assembly had previously announced that it would not participate in Geneva III unless the PYD is also invited. The Rojava delegation met a U.S. delegation in Geneva yesterday, during which they voiced rejection to the attitude of the U.S. that made an effort to obscure the injustice against the Kurds. The delegation also had a meeting with Russian delegation. During the talks, Guru, this is important. Kurdish representatives criticized the US and EU for considering Kurds in Rojava as a military ally alone and not adopting the required stance when it comes to their political status. So as you can see, they're just using them as bait. Guru, I found this yesterday. It went viral on Twitter. And we posted on Novorossia Today. Everybody check out Novorossia Today so you can get the actual PDF link. This is a book. Listen to this. The Fraudulent Story About the Ukrainian Famine. This book is currently out of print and extremely rare. A worldwide library search reveals that this book is only present in 28 libraries. Only one of them a public library, the rest being academic libraries. One of the 28 library locations possessing the book, 14 are in America. This book documents how and why fraudulent stories about the Ukrainian famine of the 30s made the presses worldwide and have become accepted as fact by almost everyone, despite the fact that they are provably false. The stories of millions of deaths caused by famine in Ukraine in 1933 and 1934, supposedly caused by the effects of the Soviet system, were fabricated by the Nazi propagandists in their propaganda campaigns against Bolshevism. The spread of these stories to America took root through the presses of William Randolph Hearst, who has also since then been proven, as I have documented on his website, to have been working in collaboration with the Nazis and publishing Nazi propaganda in mainstream American publications throughout the later half of the 30s and into the 40s. These fabrications, which are well documented in this book, have become almost completely accepted as facts by Americans, and these fabrications have been repeatedly used and are still used by politicians, despite the fact that they are provably false and were provably produced by Nazi conspirators. The fact that William Randolph Hearst was conspiring with the Nazis during the 1930s is proven outside of this book and is part of official American government record, yet his fabricated publications about the Ukrainian famine are still referenced as fact today. A PDF copy of this book is linked Fraud, Famine, and Fascism. You can check it out on Novorossia Today. Open up the story, and the link is right there. It gives you the whole story. It's unbelievable. Guru, it's official. It's official this morning. The U.S. will not support the Kurds. Will not. Shocking news coming out of Washington. The Obama administration has backed off from supporting the Kurdish movement and their aspirations for their dream state. Instead, the United States will fully back the Turkish junta regime, who have been supporting militarily and logistically supplying weapons to ISIS, the Islamic State terrorist organization, in a war against the Kurds in order to protect all their assets running in and out of Iraq and Syria, and that is oil. With the atrocities committed by the Turkish president, warmonger Erdogan, who should be tried for war crimes, in the Kurdistan regions of Turkey, he is killing hundreds of innocent civilians, especially the targeting of women and children with sniper attacks. Yet the Obama administration has put the blame on the Kurdish resistance. This all comes in after a special meeting between Vice President Joe Biden and Erdogan, where Biden has promised and pledged full support of the Turkish regime. Here is the official statement by U.S. Ambassador to Turkey, John Bass. United States Ambassador to Turkey, John Bass, has warned that the Kurdistan Workers' Party, that's the PKK, to cease its senseless, brutal attacks in its deadly offensive on security forces, which left 5 state fighters dead in southeastern province of Diyarbakir on Wednesday. Look at this. They're protecting the Turks. They're condemning the PKK. They resisted. They're defending their homes, Guru. Everyone listen. The PKK are defending their homes. And here America is condemning the PKK. They're condemning the Kurds on the streets. They're condemning the resistance. In a statement released on the U.S. Embassy official Twitter account on Thursday, Bass extended his condolences to the families and friends of the members of the junta security forces killed Wednesday by PKK. The U.S. ambassador said that the attack in Syria is just the latest example of the terrible toll the fighting in the southeast has taken on security forces and civilians. We call on the PKK, this according to the Obama administration, we call on the PKK to cease their senseless, brutal attacks and recall that it was the PKK resumption of violence which is the root cause of the trauma affecting so many citizens of Turkey. The answers to the grievance that underpin the resumption of violence in Turkey will only be found through dialogue and discussion in political legitimate institutions, not through violence. The U.S. ambassador also urged everyone interested in peace to direct their energies towards dialogue. 3 soldiers and 2 police officers were killed and 3 other security force members were wounded on Wednesday in a terrorist attack. Not terrorist attack, this was resistance. PKK were defending. Armed clashes have continued between the PKK and security forces in urban areas of southeastern province since the breakdown of the peace process between the PKK and the government in late July 2015. Viva PKK, viva resistance, but I need to repeat again. They call on the PKK to cease their senseless, brutal attacks. On the PKK, it's the junta, the Turkish junta of Erdogan, who are coming in with tanks, with choppers, with snipers, with special forces, and targeting women and children, especially targeting women and children, psychological warfare. Viva PKK, viva resistance. Guru, listen to this. Ready, set, go. Obama plans another war back to Libya with several Pentagon officials, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joe Dunford, and Press Secretary Peter Cook talking up military efforts to lay the groundwork for a U.S. war in Libya, which Dunford suggested would be formalized in several weeks. President Obama is starting to talk up the idea too. The White House confirmed today that President Obama has ordered his national security advisors to draw up plans to counter ISIS efforts to expand in Libya. Defense Secretary Ash Carter confirmed the move, saying several options are being drawn up. Still, Carter claimed that no decision has been made yet on attacking Libya and that the U.S. is just watching the situation very carefully. He also talked up efforts to back the Libyans, though he didn't indicate which ones, likely reflecting Cook's comments yesterday that the U.S. is seeking worthy factions to back. Carter's denial that a decision has been made may be technically true, but given the comments of General Dunford, it is very misleading, as clearly the broader decision has already been made, and the questions are just the specifics and the timing of the announcement. Let me bring in my co-host Natalia to give you news from Novorossia, Donetsk, and Lugansk republics.
News of the DPR, Donetsk People's Republic. The advisor of the DPR's head of children's rights, Yana Chepikova, reported yesterday that memorial book of died children in the DPR will be available for all citizens of the Republic. Samples of the memorial book about children of the DPR died in time of the military action will be given to the libraries, museums, and universities in all cities of the Republic. The book is to be available for everyone. It may be as method book for historians and psychologists. It will be handed to each city of the Republic, to libraries, museums, and universities, Yana Chepikova reported yesterday. Critical information from Ukraine. 122 deaths in Ukraine as a result of flu. Since the beginning of epidemic season of flu, about 2,800,000 people in Ukraine fell ill. It has been known that 122 people died as a result of flu and RV for today. It was reported by the head of the State Sanitary Epidemiologic Service of Ukraine, Sviatoslav Protas. Military sitrep of the DPR. Ukraine armed forces shelled the Donetsk airport territory. Ukrainian fighters shelled the territory of the Donetsk airport and Volvo center last night. It has been reported today to dawn by the defense structures of the DPR. The shelling started at about 10 p.m. Volvo center occurred under the shelling by Ukrainian nationalistic groups. It was reported to the agency. In regard to the data of the resource, the hostility shelled from positions in Pesky and Opatne, with the use of mortars, grenade launchers, small arms, and infantry combat vehicles.
Everyone, please know this is PKK Info and Support Center. Over the last few days, 28 slain and wounded people and remain stuck in a basement for 5 days are yet to be reached. As the atrocities of the Turkish Nazi forces is getting heavier in the Kurdish towns under curfew, 28 people who are trapped in a basement in Kudi neighborhood for 5 days continue suffering a deliberate torture. The ongoing denial of ambulances access to the area has since left 5 of them dead due to loss of blood, while the wounded last managed to speak on the phone with the HDP Sirnak MP Fazıl Sarıyaz, who was in town himself, said on his Twitter account that the ambulances and funeral vehicles sent to the scene to retrieve the casualties are being kept outside. They're being blocked. Military vehicles were last reported to be at the basement's door 5 hours ago. No contact with the wounded since. Earlier today, armored vehicles of Turkish Nazi forces started to attack the building with heavy artillery, with the people and the casualties inside, and with mortar fire. Short before the arrival of Cizre municipality ambulances that were allowed only today to go finally to the scene and retrieve the casualties. However, ambulances were also stopped on their way and taken to the police directorate in Konak neighborhood, where they are being held waiting since. Let me continue here. This building is totally devastated by artillery fire and heavy tank fire by the Turkish junta. And there's people inside, there's families inside, and the Turk junta is not allowing emergency vehicles to get in. While the building remains under artillery and mortar fire, state forces that surrounded the area with armored vehicles earlier today made announcements calling on the people inside to surrender. Sarıyaz said it was an attempt of a massacre to impose surrender on wounded people who cannot stand up or go out of that basement. He underlined, state forces must be withdrawn from the area and ambulances must be sent to the scene to get them out shortest time as possible. And let me continue, there is some good news and some revenge. We are resistance against the Turkish junta, against the Obama administration. The YPS noted that the total of 17 members of Nazi Turkish forces were killed in yesterday's action in Sur district, while civil defense units suffered no casualties. According to the statement, Nazi Turkish forces have been rendered ineffective across 5 neighborhoods in the district, stressing that the occupant and dictatorial regime's hegemony in North Kurdistan has been broken as the will for self-rule, which began under the leadership of the YDGH, which is all part of the PKK, and endures with a stronger organization today, as now spread across the Kurdish region on the basis of self-defense against acts of occupation. YPS General Coordination vowed to confront every attack by the fascist Turkish regime and other occupant forces in every inch of Kurdistan, and called upon the Kurdish people and all revolutionary and democratic circles to step up the struggle for the attainment of freedom and free country. Viva PKK. Alright folks, that ends our program. Like I say, like I stress, always be safe out there. Everybody have a great weekend. See you all on Monday. Bye-bye folks.